Welcome. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the seventh episode of Conversations with Echo. I hope you've been finding the chat informative and you've been taking those little nuggets and making changes to become more eco friendly. Remember, drop us a line, let us know which topics you'd like to talk about, and we'll be sure to include them on the show in the coming weeks. I'm Ashley Codner. I am the newest member of the Echo team, and I'll be hosting this evening show. So, those of you who don't know me, I'll give you a little bit of information about me. I am an environmental and project management professional. I enjoy helping others become more environmentally conscious and developing environmentally friendly solutions to their problems. So, Shelly and I have teamed up to bring you a lot of amazing content, and we have a lot of projects in the works that we're just so excited to hit the ground running with. Just to remind everybody, this is an open space. Feel free to share your thoughts and your questions. We'll try to get to all of the questions tonight. Don't worry, if we can't, we'll respond into the comments following the show. Tonight, we're going to be looking at ecotourism and marine pollution. Now, we have three wonderful ladies as our guests tonight, and I'm so excited for them to share with you about their passion about ecotourism and marine pollution and just speak to you about how you can enjoy what Jamaica has to offer and how we can address marine pollution problems in Jamaica. So I'll give you a little hint to our guests. One is a powerhouse businesswoman with a strong passion for nature. And we have two environmental professionals with a keen interest in increasing public awareness and preserving the environment. And they're joining us from all the way on the other side of the island in St. James. So I'm very happy that these ladies were able to come tonight, and I'm so excited for you to hear what they have to say. Just remember, we want to hear from you, so post your questions in the comment section, and again, we'll try our best to answer all of those. So our first guest tonight, I'm going to add her to our feed. Her name is Carrie Ann Clark. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Ashley.
Now, some of you might recognize Carrie's face. She is the managing director of the Collection Motor and Carrie Man Woman store. And what some of you may have gathered from her Instagram page is that she is an avid nature explorer. She has been trotting around the island, and I say the world as well, and seen what's out there to just explore and share with everyone what's going on. Hi, Carrie.
Hi again, Ash.
So I'm going to share a little video with all of the exciting adventures that Carrie has been on. So give me a quick moment while I bring that up for you guys. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm jumping the gun. Carrie, before I dive into that, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, Ash, sorry. I decided she wanted to say hello. So I'm Carrie. Hi, guys. I would say I am passionate about life, I'm passionate about living, and I'm passionate about nature. I am typically an optimistic person, solution oriented, and I enjoy learning. I love learning. I think there's so much to be learned in this life, and I'm fascinated with our planet Earth.
Fabulous. You're right. You never stop learning, and there are just so many things out there for us to find out about. You learn something new every single day. So I want to share with our viewers something I didn't see until you shared this with us, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Some of your adventures.
Diving. Heart beats faster just watching this video. Again, it never gets old. You see the rays? And that was me looking up. Wow.
So, Carrie, tell us a little bit about some of the things that we were seeing in that video. Those is that Jamaica?
That was in the Galapagos Islands. Last
Wow.
I went diving there, and every diving every dive you saw a different creature, and I can only explain it as the highway for marine life, and just seeing all of those animals together living harmoniously
Mhm.
and welcoming you as a diver and not being afraid of you there, because Galapagos Islands is a protected reserve, and
Uh-huh.
it shows that it's protected. You know, the variety of it was a beautiful experience.
Wow. So, how long have you been diving?
I used to dive as a teenager, so I would say maybe 25 years ago I started diving. I had
Hmm.
started diving when I went to university, and about 3 years ago I was trying to figure out what hobby can I do that I would thoroughly enjoy and that would make me feel joy. And I said, "Look,
Mm,
I'll start diving again." And
nice.
diving again 3 years ago, got recertified and took it up again as a hobby.
Oh, excellent. So, what are some of your favorite dive spots in Jamaica? Do you have any?
Well, I can't say that I have gone diving in every parish in Jamaica.
Mhm.
I still have to do the South Coast. But because I live in Kingston, I tend to dive a lot off the coast of Port Royal, like 3, 4 miles.
Mhm.
And yeah, I went diving with a lady godiver, and that was a beautiful dive experience because we went diving in the Alligator Head Foundation Reserve and the whole coral rehabilitation program, and to see
Mhm.
the difference diving in a protected environment or a sanctuary,
Mhm.
it is
Mhm.
just so much more fulfilling. And sometimes I go diving and I get a little depressed. So
Mhm.
pre-COVID, diving in Port Royal, I had literally said to myself, I'm not diving in Port Royal again because it depressed me. Because there was no wildlife, the coral reef was is a disaster, and
Mhm.
the fish, and it was just disheartening to say the least. But I went diving in Port Royal about 3 weeks ago, and I was so excited to see 4 sharks. One was about 18 feet long. I saw stingrays,
Mhm. Wow.
schools of fish, and it gave me renewed hope because it just showed that without the noise pollution, without the excessive fishing, without
Mhm.
our impact on the life, it was
Mhm.
coming. So I would definitely suggest, and I like diving in sanctuaries and protected areas only because you
Mhm.
see a lot more and you feel renewed hope um, for what has been destroyed by us.
Right. So, would you say that you've been diving for a number of years? Would you say that you've seen changes in the environment below water? Good
So,
changes, bad changes?
so if I was to compare diving 25 years ago to today, 25 years ago, what I observed was that fish and life feel afraid. They were a lot more abundant. The reefs
Mhm.
weren't destroyed. I don't recall, and I could be wrong, but I don't recall seeing coral reefs that were being bleached or in distress. And
Mhm.
there's a lot more life. And it goes right back to saying diving during COVID.
Right.
That if we care and we protect and we rebuild, then
Mhm.
life will come back. And it's such a fragile ecosystem that we live in.
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
that it is important for people to understand that we can make small changes, and
Mhm.
every little creature, every species depends on each other for survival. And
You're
we're
right.
we're the
It's the small things that count, and they all add up, right?
and we're the most destructive species that there is.
So you're kind of alluding to that you're seeing a lot of garbage below water. What are some of the things that you've seen?
Oh my God, it pains my heart so much. Well, obviously plastic bottles, and I hate plastic bottles, and I use the word hate because I think it is such a strong word and I don't use it often. But plastic bottles, single-use plastics, you see a lot of that, especially
Mm-hmm.
heavy rains like now. I can't imagine. I may go and dive on Sunday, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine how much waste I'm going to see. But you see everything. You see abandoned fish nets, you see abandoned lobster pots, you see slippers, you see toothbrushes, any type of plastic waste imaginable is on the floor of the ocean. And you notice it a lot more because we live on land and we're
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to seeing garbage bins and buildings, and we get accustomed to noise pollution, we get accustomed to pollution overall.
Mm-hmm.
As a diver, you have respect for the ocean because you turn around 360 degrees and coral reefs, and it's a beautiful sighting. It's seeing nature when it's a good ecosystem at its best, and it really is beautiful and it really is inspiring. So it is.
Mm-hmm.
It really distresses me and it really hurts my heart when I see pollution on our ocean floor.
Carrie, I'm hearing or I'm feeling that passion just oozing out from you. You know how I know you told me earlier, but I think it's good if you can say it in your own words. What sparked this passion? How did you become so passionate about the environment? Please tell our viewers.
Well, I was always passionate, and I think it stemmed from my love for animals. And I think over the years, I have become more and more sensitized to the topic because of climate change. So, as a diver, I'm seeing the destruction that is happening. I have seen the
Mm-hmm.
change in 25 years. And because I'm so passionate and I love animals so much, it is dear to my heart. As a youngster, growing up, I was one of these persons who always knew I wanted to be involved somehow with animals or
Mm-hmm.
passion. Unfortunately for me, I was never the best at the sciences, so I went that. But what's great and what's amazing to me now, the world has obviously changed since I went to university, and I can make a change now because of social media and because of the internet. So I can be involved in both passions and make a difference. So I'm excited about that.
That's excellent. So Carrie, you know, you seem that you really have a connection with nature. You love to go diving. I see from your Instagram profile you also like to go into the hills every now and then. Would you consider yourself an ecotourist?
I think more and more I am an ecotourist
Mm-hmm.
because I definitely do like discovering. I like exploration,
Mm-hmm.
I like adventuring. And there is something to be said about the connection with nature when you're given
Uh-huh.
the opportunity to just be still, listen,
Mm-hmm.
and learn. So I do think I'm somewhat of an ecotourist. I won't lie and say that I don't like getting dressed up and going to a hotel in the city if I'm traveling
Mm-hmm.
and having a nice meal. But I definitely enjoy the connection with nature. And I think ecotourism is definitely a huge trend going forward. I think with COVID, a lot of countries and a lot of persons are realizing that we're destroying our planet and there's no planet.
Mm-hmm.
And last night I started watching David Attenborough's new documentary. I love him so much.
Oh,
God.
he's
And
amazing.
is and his life, my God. Um, and his voice, he's just so amazing. But he said something that resonated with me, and he said,
Mhm,
the bottom line is that life cycles on, and if we make the right choices, growth
mhm,
becomes regrowth. And it is so true, because our planet has this amazing ability to heal itself. But if we're not
mhm,
conscious as a species that we're doing so much damage, then
mhm,
the planet is going to destruct. And we see it with, right now, with animals on the brink of extinction because of deforestation, because of poaching, because of, things that are man-made and that we have caused on this planet. And I think that I don't think people know, they're not knowledgeable on small
mhm,
choices that they can make to make a difference. And I think
mhm.
that knowledge is key. And I don't think humans are naturally mean people or they want to be destructive. I think it is just that they may not know, you
That
know.
no, I agree. I think some people really don't know that, the actions that they do every day, it does have a negative impact. I
Yeah.
just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge our audience. Natasha agrees with you. She loves to go diving. You're at peace under there. Unfortunately, sometimes you see something that makes you go, why is there garbage here? But she loves to get out in nature because she finds it so relaxing. And Natasha wants to know, Carrie, during the time of lockdown, how have you been able to enjoy nature? Would you say you have more time now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, who doesn't have more time? And one of you know, I would hear from people saying, "Oh my God, I'm so stressed out. We're locked down. We have curfew. Blah blah blah." And I'm just like, guys, we live on like the most beautiful island in the Caribbean, the third largest island. We have so many opportunities at our fingertips to explore and to adventure. Can you imagine being locked up in a tiny apartment in a big city? You
You'd
know,
absolutely
where
lose your mind.
lockdowns and quarantines were real. I say we are in the perfect place for COVID.
So, all right. So staycations are being encouraged more and more because of COVID-19 and the restrictions on travel. What are some ecotourism activities or, spots that you'd encourage persons to do and go to?
Well, what I do, and I don't know if I tend to be a free spirit, and
Mhm,
I believe that I am protected. I am not fearful. A lot of people always say to me, "Well, you have to be so careful, you have to do this." And truthfully, I've never been afraid of exploration or adventuring in Jamaica. I think we're a beautiful
mhm,
country. And like I said, I don't think people are naturally evil spirited or mean. I would say adventure off the beaten path. We have
mhm,
outside of the attractions that Jamaica has to offer, and I'm talking about commercialized attractions, there are so many beaches and mountains and rivers
mhm,
left to be discovered. And, grab a girlfriend or whoever is in your little group that you're in curfew and in quarantine with, and just take
mhm.
time. What I did was when COVID happened, I had said to myself, I really want to discover Jamaica, not even rediscover Jamaica, discover Jamaica. And I'm talking about what each and every parish had to offer, and something that was not commercialized, and something that would be interesting. So there's hiking. If you're not a diver, you can get certified because everything is pretty much done online, and then you do your pool dives before you go into the water. But you have,
Mhm.
I tried for the first time lift oil, which is the surfing, the electric surfing, which is eco-friendly,
Oh, wow.
rated. That's something else you can do. But there are so many things. You can try surfing if you like the ocean. If you don't like the ocean, you prefer the mountains, go for a hike. Go up
Mhm.
Kingston, go up to Irish Town, go up to the hills. There's just so many things to do.
So many things to do. You're right. I mean, you know, Jamaica nice. You can't be bored. I think every day. Oh, there we go. Every day, there's a new adventure that you can go on, and the options are limited.
Because
Okay,
everyone is also so different. You
I
know,
have a question from the audience, and I have to show it because I know Jamaicans have a fear of the unknown. You know, aren't you afraid of some of the sea animals down there? I agree with you, Andrew. Sometimes I'm afraid of what I might look up.
Well, I think the first thing to keep in your consciousness is that they are wild animals. So you're not going to
Mm,
go diving. One of the number one rules in scuba diving is that you respect the animals. You know they are wild. But one of my
mhm,
beliefs is that there is no animal on this earth that is going to attack you if they do not feel threatened. So
mm.
my answer is the first time I saw a hammerhead shark, I was like, ah, bleep, 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 bleep. And then I was like, okay, calm down. I'm using up too much oxygen. They're persistent, this is beautiful. And I find that I don't know if it is just my consciousness, but because
Mhm,
I I'm not afraid, I'm not fearful
mhm.
of animals, I find that they pick up on that energy. Sharks, especially, they have like they're like dogs on land. You know, dogs can tell if somebody's afraid of them. So you just
Right.
keep breathing and you keep calm. You don't try to touch the shark.
Mhm.
Um, and it's fine. I just think it is the most beautiful feeling. I mean, my father hates that I scuba dive, and he's just like, when fish start walk, I will go under there.
Oh my, I don't know when they're gonna grow legs to do that. They might have to wait a few more years for evolution to
It
take
is a
its place.
beautiful sport because what it also does is that it reminds you that we are but a speck of sand in the grand scheme of this world. When
Hmm.
you're underwater and you see the magnificence of the creatures underwater,
Hmm.
you realize that the ocean makes up 72% of our planet.
Right.
It is just so vast and amazing and beautiful. If we would just stop this pollution, then it would remain that way because the
Mhm.
ecosystem is also so sensitive. Because
Right.
you get rid of one, if you overfish, then something else suffers, and then eventually species become extinct, and then it
Right.
damages the entire ecosystem.
It's it's a ripple or a domino effect.
It,
Carrie, you're inspiring a lot of adventure now. I mean, I know Live Echo, we're ready. The road trip. Let's do one this weekend.
I'm
And
so
I'm
happy.
I'm
I'm ready.
Mishka.
All
I
ready.
hope I pronounced your name right. She's saying there's so many hidden gems to be explored, and I would encourage persons, go there, see what we have to offer. It's such a beautiful country, and
It's so
I
true.
agree with Amoy. Now I want to go scuba diving tomorrow. This
Yes,
is so
come
exciting.
on, the more of us, the better. We can help raise
Indeed.
awareness about the importance of the marine ecosystem.
And Christina, oh, Chris C, she's coined it beautifully. You know, we have to we have to respect the environment so that it can be a good place for us to enjoy. You know,
Exactly. No doubt. There is
there
no.
is we had a little guest last week and she coined it beautifully. With no environment, there's no us. That's Sunny. Sunny, I hope you're watching tonight. She's right. We need to preserve our environment so that we can enjoy it for years to come.
And for
All
future
right.
generations, for sure.
So Carrie, before I welcome our Montego Bay guest, I want you to tell our viewers what can they do to preserve the environment so that we can continue to enjoy it.
Well, I would say the first thing to do is to reduce your carbon footprints, and your
Mhm.
carbon footprint can be reduced. It's the simple things. When you're brushing your teeth, turn the tap off when you're not
Mhm.
using water, less new water consumption, reduce your energy consumption, um, use less plastics, use less single use plastics, stop buying water. It's funny because growing up, we never had bottled water, right? And
Right?
all of a sudden, if you're not drinking bottled water, it's bad for you. But hello, the water is in the sun, in plastic, leaking BPOs, which causes cancer. Education, buy a filter and filter the water. That's another thing. Take care of the beach. When you go to the beach, clean up after yourself. Support organizations that are working towards protecting the environment. Influence change in your community. Educate yourself about sunblock and sunscreen, because sunblock and sunscreen, most of them have an ingredient that is also one of the major causes of coral bleaching.
Wow.
right? So I use a sunblock that is
Eco-friendly.
all mindfulness, respect marine life, respect coral. Don't take a starfish out of the water to take a picture. Just certain things like that. Just be conscious about the decisions that you're making, and
I
your
agree.
goal should be to reduce your carbon footprint. And it can be as simple as turning the tap off when you're brushing your teeth.
Excellent points, Carrie. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to put you backstage, but bring you on a little bit later. You gave us some excellent nuggets. So just to summarize, Kerry made some excellent points. Be more conscious of your actions. Try to reduce the amount of waste that you generate, your carbon footprint. Be aware of the damage that your actions can cause. So thank you so much, Kerry. Now, we have some guests from St. James. I'm excited to bring these two young ladies on. They're from the Montego Bay Marine Park and the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust, and they manage the Montego Bay Marine Park, which is Jamaica's first marine park. So please help me in welcoming Tahira Scott Anderson and Charlinda Forrester from the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How are you doing this evening?
I am glad to be here. I'm fine.
I see you are getting the rain today that we got in Kingston yesterday.
Definitely. It's not as
And I
bad.
know not as bad, no. I know in
No.
Kingston we're getting reports of the roads turning into rivers, and instead of fish, we're just seeing garbage, floating on top, heading towards Kingston Harbor, and you're like, oh no, why is this happening? Why is this happening? But thank you so much for joining us today. Can you ladies tell us a bit more about the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust and what it is that you ladies do there? So, Charlinda, you're up first.
All right. So a little backstory about Montego Bay Marine Park. As you mentioned before, we're the first marine park in Jamaica. So we're 28 years old. Yeah. All the way from 1992. So we've been around for quite some time now. So
Almost
to understand, yes, exactly. So to understand really the marine park, you have to have a little overview of how the park is. So if you're familiar with Montego Bay, our boundaries are all the way from airport, Donald Sangster's airport, all the way down to Great River. That's the border between Hanover and St. James. So that stretch of the coast is the Montego Bay Marine Park. And within that, we have two what we call fish sanctuaries or protected areas. That's what we have. So we have to really monitor and operate and really streamline those areas through enforcement, research and science, and also education. So in a nutshell, we care, protect, and preserve the marine ecosystem in that stretch or scope of Montego Bay.
Oh, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And what is it that you do at the Marine Park Trust?
All right, so me? Going ahead?
Yes. Right. What's it? Well, you're the outreach officer, am I right?
Yes, I am. I'm the education and outreach officer. So basically, I just create awareness around marine preservation, conservation issues, how to really live in unison with the environment, being eco-friendly, just spreading the word and creating awareness around marine life.
Okay. Now, Miss Tahira, please tell us about what you do at the trust.
So I'm a park ranger, which means I'm a part of the enforcement department. And so as Linda told you guys, we have our boundaries, and so we patrol the boundaries of the park to make sure that nobody's doing any illegal activities, and we pay attention to the two fish sanctuaries that are located in the park boundaries. basically.
Okay, good work. Now, I also have a little video to show about all of the wonderful work that you are doing there. So I'm going to bring that up so that the audience can see exactly what you guys are doing there. Get a nice visual.
This is very surprising.
So I see a lot of garbage comes down into the park. Is that normal, or is that only after you have rain falling? I hope it's not normal.
It's not
It's
that
somewhat
severe every
normal.
year, but it's somewhat normal after heavy rainfall.
Ah, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah.
And I also see where it looks like you're doing, is that a beach cleanup? I
Yes,
saw a
we're
person
very,
picking up garbage on a beach.
that's one of our main events for the year. We'll have international coastal cleanup and other mini cleanups throughout the year. So every time we'll have an environmental day, we'll try to
Mhm.
start it off with a cleanup. That's just our
Okay,
thing.
that's good. That's really good. So how can the public support the park?
Well, simple. Donate, sponsor project, that is the best way, because for everyday operation we need a lot of marine related equipment. So it's very
Mhm.
good for a project to really flow into providing gears, snorkels, dive equipment, whatever it is, to really get the day-to-day running going on. So sponsor a project, volunteer your time, um,
We also
and
have
just
like,
donate.
yeah, or
Yeah.
we also for like non-financial support. Like if you see something going on, like if you live in Montego Bay, we have a number you can call. We have or
Mhm.
email. You can reach out if you need to.
Which you have
Yeah,
that going on the bottom of the screen
yeah.
right there.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So Tahira, I want to know, you're a Kingstonian, but you moved all the way to Montego Bay to work with the park, to work with the marine park. So that says to me there has to be a deep passion there for the environment. You move cities, tell us a little bit about, your passion and what fueled it.
Yeah, I moved to the park for two reasons. Obviously, I am a water lover, so it was a really good opportunity job wise. My mom also used to work at the park, so I thought that'd be really cool.
Okay.
Like, whatever. She was at the park when she was pregnant with me, so maybe that's why I'm there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just really love being in the water, and I think it's really important for people to understand that it's not just what you see at the surface. Like there's so much more to it, and even in the small thing that like 90% of the ocean hasn't been discovered yet. Like we're seeing so much garbage in what we do know about. It's important to realize that there's so much more that we don't know about or don't see that could be just as severely affected. So
Wow.
kind of why I took the job because I was like, I mean, I better than being in Kingston surrounded by nothing. To the beach.
Well, I see that you want to make a change. So that's wonderful. Charlinda. Now, many people may not know this. We went to UE together.
Yes,
We are
we
we
did. We're actually batch mates.
there. We are. We studied marine biology together. What sparked your interest in the environment?
To be honest, I have always been an environmentalist. I think from birth. It's
Oh, okay. We're
very,
going back far.
yeah, it's natural. I've never been the indoor type of kid to sit and watch TV. I'm always outside
Mhm.
doing something in nature. To be honest, I feel my best in nature. I love water. I love to be around the ocean, rivers, anything in nature. That's just me. So I think it's just natural for me to get into something like this. And even in school, I always gravitate towards the natural sciences, the
Mhm.
environmental sciences, the geography. That's me. I'm that kid going on the field trips, looking at rocks. Yeah, that's me. So it's just
There's
natural.
a strong connection. Wonderful. I love
Hmm.
that you two ladies are so connected. I want to dive into marine pollution a little bit more. Tahira, can you tell me in your own words, what is marine pollution? Let's demystify this term a little bit. When you hear marine pollution, what comes to mind?
So I think about like natural, like just regular pollution. Anything for me, pollution is anything that is like garbage or dirty or somewhere that it's not supposed to be. So marine pollution is just like land pollution, but in the water, and it's so much more intense because marine pollution is not only affected by activities on the water, but also activities that happen on land. So all the garbage that we're discarding improperly, that washes into the water, that is all classified as marine pollution. And there's so many categories, which are like plastic bottles that you guys were talking about earlier, or corks, or just like glass bottles, refrigerators. It's the things that wash out to that gully. And I wonder for a couple of months, the stories that I've heard about the stuff that washes out to that gully, it's intense, man.
Well, what's the most interesting thing that you've seen wash out of that gully? And which gully is that? Sorry, for us who aren't familiar with Montego Bay, which gully are you talking about?
That's North Gully. Similar to your Sandy Gully, we have a North Gully. So that's the biggest gully here in Montego Bay.
And so when both you ladies are doing patrols along the coastline, what's the most common item of garbage that you're seeing coming from that gully?
Plastic bottles.
Wow,
for sure.
We had the same answer. Plastic bottles. My goodness gracious.
Plastic bottles.
Wow. Would
following behind that is the poly bags. The very clear one.
It's interesting. Yeah.
My God.
It's interesting that you say that because, in 2019, January 1, 2019, the government imposed a ban on, single-use plastic bags, plastic straws, polystyrene, styrofoam, for those of us who don't speak science. Have you noticed a change in the composition of the garbage since this ban? Has it caused any improvement?
Definitely. Definitely we've seen, as in maybe the first 2 weeks after the ban, zero single-use bag. It was amazing. What we saw was mostly organic matters and also the plastic bottles, of course. So, but slowly coming in right now, you're seeing them popping up here and there again.
Oh no, that's not good.
So they're not completely phased out.
Not yet. Okay. Tahira, would you're fairly new to Montego Bay, fairly new. From what you've observed, would you say that there's a marine pollution problem?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that, yeah. Based on the videos alone that we saw earlier. Yeah, I just think it's crazy for me. Like, even though I was there for I've been at the park for like just a couple of months. Because based from when COVID started, like a couple months after COVID, and like the whole quarantine situation, even then there was such a change in the amount of garbage that we saw, like in the water itself. But there's still so much garbage coming from land.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a lot.
So you said garbage is coming from land. Where on land do you think this garbage is coming from?
Literally everywhere. I mean, where does North start from? Because I mean, I feel like everything washes into a gully somewhere, and then all of that gully water just washes out. So like, no matter where you are, even if the bottle is dropped on the road and whatever, like a wave comes, it splashes over, that bottle washes down into the gully, that water goes into the water. So it doesn't really matter where, it's just the amount, like wherever you are, the amount of garbage that is being discarded improperly is so much, and all of it is just washing into the water.
So if I'm up in the hills and I throw my garbage in a gully, it's not gonna stay in the hills. It's gonna wash down, to the seaside. It's not necessarily out of mind, out of sight. You mentioned that we have pollution on land, and it washes down into the sea, into the ocean. Would you say that marine pollution affects us on land, Charlene?
Definitely. I mean, as a human, you want a clear space, you want a clear and clean space.
Mm-hmm.
So I think mentally and physically, it's affecting our health. So not
Mm-hmm.
only the blocked drainage, the unpleasant smell, the toxins, the chemicals, all of that accumulating, it's really affecting us in our mental space. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're in a unpleasant and a polluted environment, I mean, you can't be your best self, you can't think properly, you can't process and be the best you. So it's really a problem in Montego Bay, and we've been experiencing this problem for years. As Tahira mentioned, we have two major gullies, the north and south gully. Everything, numerous communities, everything will just feed into that main or those main gullies and straight out into almost into the park, not necessarily protected area, but eventually it will get there. So it's it's more than like, if it's happening on land, definitely it's going to reach the ocean. So it's really affecting us.
Tahira, so you're a park ranger, which means that you're out in the water a lot, right? Their scientists are saying that plastic is starting to move up the food chain. Have on any of your dives, you see the fish interacting with garbage and thinking that it's food?
I
Are
mean,
we
yeah,
eating
definitely.
garbage?
You definitely see like the occasional, like, I mean, not occasional, but you definitely see like a plastic bag that's been caught and eventually it's
Mhm,
been filled with some algae, and you see a fish picking at
mhm.
it, or something caught in a reef, or just floating by and fish are like inspecting it or trying to bite at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. You think the problem of pollution is just so easy to solve, but it's just crazy. Like, even one day we were on patrol and we were driving out of the first sanctuary to go to the other one. And I saw a lady walk to the edge of the rocks, and I saw her with a reusable bag in her hand. So I was like, oh, cool. These guys are just going to go to the edge of the rocks, have a picnic, whatever. People do that. She literally got to the edge of the rock and chucked the bag in the water. I was like, I
Oh
literally
no.
like turn up. So we went to her. I was just like, you cannot just throw your garbage into the water. She's like, "When I don't understand, I don't understand. There's a reason why we do blah blah blah." And I'm just like, okay, so what is the reason? Like, what is the reason? And she's just like, "This don't just like that. So I don't understand, blah blah blah." And I'm just like people, this is in front of a kid and what appeared to be like the grandmother. So like, it's just like generational ingrained. We have to start
Right.
working from now, obviously, to fix the problem.
So what can we as citizens do to prevent marine pollution? I want a perspective from each of you. So Charlinda, I'm gonna ask you to go first. What can we do to prevent, this type of degradation of our seas?
I think personally, you have to be informed, because it's upon yourself to really know about something. And if you
Mhm.
know, then you can care. Because a lot of times it's not necessarily that they don't care. I'm picking up for them in a sense. It's
Right.
just they may not know. So
Mhm.
because persons are still out there of the opinion that corals are just rocks, they're just dead rocks down there, and the sea is, endless, and they just chuck the garbage in the ocean and it's fine, it will go away somewhere. So I
Mhm.
think if there is more education from inception going right up through all generations, there'll be a change. So be informed. You
Be
can't go
informed.
wrong if you're educated about something.
I
So
totally
that's
agree. Being
that's
informed is so important. Tahiro, how
Yeah.
can we prevent, instances like what you described a while ago with the lady just chucking her garbage off into the sea like it's
Yeah.
Riverton?
I know you said you wanted a different perspective, but I totally agree. Education is it. I don't think that anything
Mhm,
will be solved unless like everybody's educated about it, and
mhm,
obviously we're implementing these things at where like to people of different ages and different levels and different like social backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like education, but education specific to certain situations. So like you can't just have
mhm.
blanket education for every and everybody and just expect everybody to understand what's going on and the importance of it. Like, no, we need to be intentional with our education measures and you know initiatives.
No, I totally agree. Tahir, there's a question for you in our comment section. Um, Moy wants to know, are persons arrested when on the sea when you catch them doing something illegal?
So the process is, if we catch them doing something illegal, we confiscate the item and we write them up. It's dependent upon whether the person is a first-time offender or not, and so we usually do it situationally. But people can be taken to court, so they can be summoned to court based on the number of times you've seen them out there, or depending on what activity was. The situations vary, but yes, they can be taken to court.
They can be taken to court.
Yeah, and the fines are high. Like, people don't even realize how high the fines are, and when you tell them, it's like, you think that it was $200, but they're like, whoa, like what? And then the fines are really high, but people still risk it. So apparently,
So what are some of the things that the trust is doing to help cut down on some of this pollution in that general area?
Well, we had a project for one of the point source of pollution, which is South Gully. We had a project, maybe you've heard of it. It was a couple of years ago, Clean Coast Project. We had a debris boom system right across South Gully. Yes, it has been, collecting rubbish and all that, but that's been good, no lie. But that gully is low flow. That's not the troublemaker.
Okay. That's not the troublemaker. Is
the big bad boy is North Gully. And I don't know if you guys remember, maybe in 2017, I think it was, we had a major flood. And everybody, I think some people in Kingston thought we had a river. Like, oh, I'm sorry for the river overflowing in Montego Bay. There's no river. It's the gully. So that, I think we need to take a different approach to address that problem at North Gully. But as for us at the park, education is one of our main components, in which we go to schools, we go to different communities, we have posters, we have, we're active online, we try to spread the word as much as possible. The enforcement team, they go out, they do the public awareness on the boat, out at sea, talk to different boat operators. That's really our main thing at this time. And before Corona, we had, major cleanups going on, which we had a whole heap of volunteers. Over 1,000.
I see you're getting big ups. You're getting big ups in the comments about your summer camps. So you're trying to, educate the youth, and you even had a virtual camp this year because you couldn't have physical because of COVID. That's amazing. I like that you're not letting it deter you. And
so that's a hero. That's really how we try to fight this COVID. Still going to the kids, even though they can't physically come to us.
That's absolutely excellent. Tahiro, people must afraid of you because you're making sure that, behaving properly.
If people don't respect females, I'm telling you.
Oh, dear. But no, I like that, you the trust in you ladies, you are actively trying to change behavior. It takes persistence. You're targeting the youth, which I think is excellent. They are the ones that will probably lead the way going forward. And I love the work that you're doing in the park. So you're patrolling the park, you're educating persons, you're cleaning up the park. You guys are doing everything, like absolutely everything.
Sounds up.
We try our best.
No, that's excellent. I love the work that you're doing. I'm going to thank you so much, ladies. It was excellent. I love the discussion around pollution. I had no idea that I was looking in the video, a mattress, I think it was. I haven't seen a mattress in the ocean for a while. Usually I put it to the bed and I take it with me when I leave, but a mattress, that's a new one.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. I'm going to add back Kerry, and we're going to take some questions from the audience. Madame Carrie-Anne,
Hey.
ladies, thank you so much. I think, we got so many good nuggets. So Carrie, there's so much for us to explore in Jamaica. Like, it's limitless. And ladies, I think, Tahira and Charlinda, you've highlighted that we have a little bit of a behavioral problem as it relates to marine pollution. And, I like that you're taking steps to preserve what's there and take action, so that persons like Carrie and myself can go on a dive and see fish and coral reef, not plastic bottles and plastic bags. So I love the work that you guys are doing. So I'm going to look at our comment section. Do we have any questions from the audience? Oh, well, this is wonderful. What type of help? What specific help do you need from the corporate sector? Do you think the corporate sector plays a role in this?
Yeah, everybody plays a role.
Everybody.
How can the corporate sector help us? Tahira, you are starting.
I feel like the same way that everybody needs to properly dispose of their garbage, or like corporate people can. So like the same way Charlene was saying that we educate people, like schools, we also educate organizations. So organizations can, whoever is in charge or in leadership or whatever, can, use their initiative and reach out to organizations like the Montego Bay Marine Park to ensure that their staff is educated, and therefore those people will then go home to educate their families, and it's kind of like a spillover effect.
Great. I see Live Echoes, donations from corporate Jamaica. That's excellent. Yeah. Them incorporating sustainable business strategies. More and more persons want to do business with companies that are sustainable and socially responsible and environmentally responsible. So I would love for corporate Jamaica to really take that initiative forward. I have another question here, and I think this is directed at Carrie. Where can we go and learn scuba diving? Yes, I'm curious.
So in Kingston, there is Yadi Divers. They're on Instagram, Yadi Divers. In Port Antonio, you have Lady Godivo. And in a hotel. So if you go to a hotel, you can literally get certified over a weekend. Whereas if you're going with Yadi or Lady G, it may take a little longer. So all about, you can just Google Paddy Dive Centers in Jamaica, and you'll have a full list of where you can get certified. I wanted to add the first question. I think also if the larger companies especially would be a little more responsible and start within the organization and stop having bottled water and give employees reusable water, because everybody in that organization will take that mentality home, and then you'll have the whole domino effect. So I think even as team players, if they educated their team players and help them in giving them reusable bottles, that would go a long way in educating and changing the mindset of people over time. So other separate and apart from donations, I'm going to bring in Montego Bay Animal Haven right here, which I'm sure everybody knows. I mean, Tammy has done the most amazing job in educating, in sensitizing just animals and the love for animals and helping the animals and spaying and neutering and the importance of spaying and neutering. And I mean, it doesn't talk to pollution, but it still is talking to how one person can really make a difference. Toyota Jamaica went on board, and she has a vehicle driving with them, and it just is a domino effect. People are more and more educated about what she's doing. She's getting a lot more help. She just put up her building. I don't know if you guys follow her, Tahira.
Yes. Animal Haven. Yes, we do.
Yeah. We do.
So, I mean, if you look at her growth and what she has done as a small entity and a non-for-profit organization, it's amazing. And if we could start something similar to that effect, and we're doing good, and we saw the change, I think it would make a big difference also.
Yeah, I agree that.
Get involved in something like that, and just creating, so it's not just sanctuaries, is not just plastic pollution. I think if a lot more big companies would also put in recycling bins for the people who are using the plastic, so people just into that habit of don't dump your plastic,
Right. I love this suggestion by Christina C, where she says, maybe if you have a discounted admission when you bring plastic items, I think that would be fabulous. If when you go to a park or I don't know, a supermarket, an attraction, if you can get a discount bringing plastic bottles, I think that would be excellent.
That would be great.
Excellent. So I hope corporate Jamaica is listening to us.
And I must say they have the influence too. So I agree with what Kerry said. They have the influence. So they're the big corporate companies. They have multi-million-dollar persons following them. They have the influence of the whole country, at least some of them. So I think if they make a change, it will be a great turnaround for the nation.
Ladies, we've had such an informative discussion. We've gotten so many good nuggets from each of you. You know, we're almost coming to a close, but I'd like each of you to just, what's your take-home message for our viewers? Tahira? Yes, you're up first. What's your take-home message?
Not a state of Jamaica. Kidding. But actually, I feel like the take-home message is, it's important to realize that our actions on land are just as important in preserving the marine environment as it is in preserving our land environment. So be mindful of how you're disposing what you're disposing.
I totally agree. That is very true. Charlinda, you're up next. What's your take-home message for our viewers?
I would definitely say it's environmental pollution and conservation is everybody's business. So it's not just the educators and the enforcers and the so-called environmentalists. It's for everyone. There's no planet B. That's it.
I love it. I love it. Carrie, what's your take home for our audience?
Linda said it. I was just going to say there's no planet B, and we all need to be a little more mindful and conscious about the decisions we make. And we can also make small changes, and every little change will make a difference. No change is too small.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I agree with all of you. You guys have given us so many good points tonight. I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing with us. I'm sure the audience will agree with me that, you know, this discussion, I've learned so much. We've learned so much where we can go in Jamaica to do things, how we can preserve the environment. So ladies, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to put you in our VIP backstage for a moment. Wow, that was a really good chat. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in. I think an important takeaway from tonight's show is we have no planet B. You know, we need to take steps to protect our environment so that we can enjoy it for years to come. The small things really add up. And Jamaica, I encourage persons, we have so many things to do. Jamaica nice for true. You know, go out, go on the unbeaten trek and see what it is that Jamaica has to offer and explore. Again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For more information on Live Echo, be sure to check our website and our social media pages. Thank you, good night, and keep safe.